After reading part 2 of McGraw-Hill's Proofreading Handbook, I realized that the overall subject matter was how to successfully communicate in the editing world. Anderson shows us that although the marks of proofreading are universal, each job has a way of building on one another. In Chapter 6, Anderson tells us about commonly used marks while proofreading. She tells us how and when to use each mark, which is displayed in Table 6.1, as well as the following pages where she decides to elaborate. The table is beneficial because it shows us exactly how the marks are to be used, because sometimes an explanation isn't enough. As I said before, the marks are universal, and we witness that when she talks about the copywriter the copywriter would use those same marks. The only real difference is that in this case, the marks are both in the text as well as the margins. That's your clue that the copywriter was the one who actually made the marks. Still building upon the basic marks, she moves on to the typesetter, which explains how the typesetter communicates. And in this case, it's in the form of formulas. From the description that Anderson gave, the directions are no more than a few words long, if that. Now, the typesetter will incorporate basic marks that we had been introduced to earlier. The example that she uses is the Bimbo BF Itel 11 of 14. And inside the open and close brackets, she puts the multiplication sign or the by sign and the number 18. In Chapter 8, Anderson also talks about more tools that will be used to measure the type size and the space. Those tools are the metal or transparent ruler, which is also known as a line gauge. She also says that we need a magnifying glass. Now, when I saw this, the first thing that came to mind was, okay, this is going to be a seriously meticulous job. I didn't realize that we would be measuring things to the nearest umph. So that was an eye-opener for me. Now, overall, I really benefited from the information in the handbook. I thought that it was an extremely helpful how the author had explained the roles and gave some insight onto how the roles in the editing world are to be used, and of course not forgetting that because the roles are separate, that these roles can still be condensed somehow. It could be going from one person or three people doing the job to one person doing the job. But overall, I will be keeping this book close to me until I get extremely familiar with everything. Thank you.